Hi, today I want to show you how you can export the code that you are writing visually in Wized into real JavaScript code. Now, before we start, I have to say there's no benefit of doing that besides just having the peace of mind that you can, because Wiz is doing all the magic for you on the back end, right? You can export the code, but then all of a sudden, if you host it yourself, you have to care about, okay, compliance and hosting and data security, and you have to do all of those things. You have to care about all the magic going on the back end, because it stops being reactive. Wized is a reactive layer that goes on top of your Webflow project, meaning that if you update a variable, you have to manually update all that instances as well within the code you're writing, so your code becomes more complex, right? Because Wized does most of the work for you. You're just not recognizing what it all does. For example, with the persistent storage variables, Wized is already stringifying and parsing them for you fully automatically without you knowing that it's doing that. So that is the big benefit of using Wized, because it gets so easy. And every time you do an update, now if you export the code and use it yourself, you have to republish the whole thing and go through the whole code manually to make edits on that code, which gets incredibly complicated. But just for the peace of mind that you can export your Wized JavaScript code, I'm going to show you how to do that today. So you want to go to your settings panel, and it's not shown in here. There is no feature called export code because you're not supposed to, right? Because hosting that code yourself is like really where the value of Wized comes in, because it's hosting that for you. It's going through all the troubles and all the headaches for you with this staging environment, their state variables, their automatic parsing, stringifying, all the magic that's going on, and then giving you this reactivity layer that is instant. But if you want to export it, or if you want to show your client or your investors, yeah, we have the code right here. Look at that. It's all here. We're not using Bubble. You can do that. Of course, Wized gives you the freedom to do so. So in order to do so, we actually need to copy the embed. So let me really quick copy the embed of this clonable I have here into my notes. And we want to take this file on top of here. We're going to copy that file, and that is basically the source code. That's where the source code of this Wized project basically is on. And you even see like all my variables, alloy, and we have all those IDs. This is basically my whole project I did in Wized. And we have this in the code version, right? Now you could put this into VS Code and make it pretty and just start working your way around that yourself and whatever you need to do with it. But again, the value in Wized is Wized. So there is no really value in storing that code yourself, but having the peace of mind that you have access to the source file, and if you would ever decide to make use of that, you can. Nobody's holding you back from that. That's a great thing at least to have. If your investors require that, if your customer wants to have the peace of mind, now you can develop in Wized without having to have any limitations of if you would ever to, which you will love Wized. You will not move away. But if you ever should think about it, you can access this anytime. And the wonderful thing about Wized is it gives you not just this code. Wized is not just a code configurator that actually gives you this. Behind what's running here is a server side as well, which you would, if you would do that yourself, have to set up yourself. You would have to use something like Node.js and all of that. Because as we can see, I don't see any Wized secrets in this code because they happen on the server side. They are secure. Now, Wized is doing, if you use Wized secrets, all your API requests that you do with it secure on their server side. The API keys are not going to be exposed. They're not going to be in this code right here. They are safe. They happen on the server. Now, you could take this code and build your own server side, build your own infrastructure around that, set up your own Node.js, your own Python stuff on the back end. but for $9 a month, it's really worth it using Wized to do that for you, because the maintenance will just go through the roof. But you have the possibility, of course, not accessing the server side, because that would be actually a security issue. But they give you access to the code, to the JavaScript, to the logic, and you're free to do with it whatever you want. And I think that's a wonderful feature that Wized gives you right here in this embed code section. And yeah, please let me know if you have any questions about this. I hope that this gave you peace of mind. If you're still deciding, should I go with Wized? Can I export my code? You can. Wized gives you that functionality, so as Webflow does too. But it's just a no-brainer going with Wized to host your code, because it gets so easy. I can always go back in here and say, you know what, let's update this little thing in here. Or you even don't need to write most of the code. You can already set conditions, run functions. It is really a miraculous piece of software that helps you build and ship your products faster. But in case that was the boundary that hold you away from using Wized, or maybe made you a bit skeptical, there isn't any boundary anymore. You can export your code. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any other questions about exporting code on Wized, or any other question related to Wized. I'm always happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.